Hello, Grands. How are you? It's Advent number 4. Okay, yesterday Mary said, I am the Lord's servant. May it be to me as you have said. Then the angel left her. So today, let's see what Mary does. Mary visits Elizabeth. At that time, Mary got ready and hurried to a town in the hill country of Judea, where she entered Zechariah's home and greeted Elizabeth. When Elizabeth heard Mary's greeting, the baby leaped in her womb, and Elizabeth was filled with the Holy Spirit. In a loud voice, she exclaimed, Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the child you will bear. But why am I so favored that the mother of my Lord should come to me? As soon as the sound of your greeting reached my ears, the baby in my womb leaped for joy. Blessed is she who has believed that what the Lord has said to her will be accomplished. And we'll leave it at that. So Mary's visiting Elizabeth, and already amazing things are happening. Hi, everybody. I've got tonight's story. It's called The Littlest Christmas Elf. Are you ready? The Littlest Christmas Elf by Nancy Buss. And here's a picture of some elves. Let me go that way. There we go. Here's the picture. Alistair the elf was excited. Today he was leaving for the North Pole. The whole village of Elfin Corners had come to say goodbye. Even the mayor was there. This year Santa has sent for our merriest elf to join his workshop, the mayor said. We will miss Alistair's songs and stories, yet Santa needs the best, and our Alistair is a very special elf. But when Alistair arrived at the North Pole, he didn't feel special at all. He was the littlest elf there. He was so tiny that head elf McCaffrey couldn't find him a job. McCaffrey gave Alistair a wagon to build, but Alistair was too small to hammer. He gave him a dollhouse to paint, but Alistair couldn't reach the roof. He gave him some bears to stuff, but that didn't work either. He's buried beneath them, said the elf in charge of the bears. Here's the next pictures. McCaffrey shook his head. Just 2 weeks till Christmas, he said, and we still have so much work to do. We have to find you a job. Perhaps you can sweep. But even the broom was too big for Alistair, and the other elves began to laugh. Why, he's just a runt, said one elf. He poked a friend and giggled. He's smaller than I am, said another, who stuck out his tongue. And absolutely useless, said a third. Santa should send him away. Here's the pictures. Alistair blinked his eyes quickly so he wouldn't cry. I don't belong here, he thought. I'm so little even Santa won't like me. Then he pushed through the crowd and ran from the room. But Santa won't send me away, said Alistair, because he will never see me. Alistair kept running until he found a perfect place to hide, down behind the woodpile in back of the reindeer pen. It was there that Alistair found a friend. My name is Nicholas, said an old elf peering over the woodpile. What's yours? Alistair answered in a whisper. Nicholas shook his hand. I'm glad to know you, he said. Would you like to help me with the reindeer? And there we are. When Alistair nodded, Nicholas lifted him up on his shoulders, and the two of them chatted and sang while they fed and watered the reindeer. Alistair was so happy to find a friend that he returned to the reindeer pen the next day and the next. Nicholas never minded if Alistair asked questions, and he never told Alistair he was too small to help. While Nicholas cleaned out the stalls, Alistair fed the reindeer apples. While Nicholas brushed a reindeer's coat, Alistair polished harness bells. And all the while he told Nicholas stories, and together they sang to the reindeer. Here's the next page. Okay, but one morning Nicholas was gone. Someone else was hauling the water. Someone else was cleaning the pen. Where is Nicholas? Alistair asked. Nicholas, indeed, said a grumpy elf who was busily swinging a pitchfork. He's up at the big house. Now go away. I have work to do. And there he is, telling Alistair to go away. He had work to do. Hush. Boys. Hey, psst. The big house, thought Alistair, but that's where Santa lives. Nicholas must be sick. He must be very sick if he's staying with Santa. And the thought of his friend in that big, scary house sent Alistair scurrying to the safety of his bed. But he didn't sleep. He was worried about Nicholas, and he missed him so much he knew he'd have to see him. So there he is. Here he is right here. Oops. Right here, looking out the window of his bedroom. Okay. So the next morning, Alistair packed a basket of fruit and started out for a visit. But the nearer he got to Santa's house, the slower his steps became. Finally, he stopped completely. Behind a Christmas tree in Santa's front yard, his heart was beating loudly. And there he is, scared to go any farther. Suddenly the door opened, and Alistair, more frightened than ever, dived beneath the pine tree. He heard footsteps, and he buried his head under his arms. The footsteps came closer. Alistair was afraid to breathe. He closed his eyes tightly and prayed that no one would see him. But someone jiggled his foot. Hey there, said a voice. You're not hurt, are you? Okay. And there it is, right there, on this side. And where this finger is. Right? He's hiding under the tree. Let's try this. Here we go. Alright. Alistair let out a long, slow breath. He peeked out from under his arms. It was Nicholas! Alistair scurried out from under the tree and gave his friend a hug. Well, it's Alistair. I've missed you. And how are my reindeer? The week before Christmas is so busy I don't have time to take care of them. Come inside and talk to me. And before Alistair could say a word, his friend had hoisted him to his shoulders and begun walking toward the house. No, no, Alistair cried. I can't go in there. Put me down. And he wiggled and squirmed so much that the old elf did. You hear the pictures? Can't go in where? Nicholas asked. Alistair pointed towards the house. And why not, may I ask? Because Santa won't like me and he'll send me home. Why would he do that? Asked Nicholas. Because I'm little and I can't do anything right, and... The old elf interrupted. Why, that's nonsense, he said. You're a big help to me. In fact, I have a special job just for you. A special job? Here they are. Asked Alistair, for me? Exactly right, said Nicholas. You're coming with me this year when I make my deliveries. Deliveries? Said Alistair. The toys. The toys to see to the children on Christmas Eve, said Nicholas. You see, it's a long trip and I get lonely. But you could come with me, Alistair. You're so small, you fit in the sleigh. And you could tell me stories and we could sing songs just like we do in the reindeer pen. There's the picture. Alistair's mouth dropped open. His eyes got big and round. Then you're Santa Claus. His friend bowed. Also known as St. Nicholas. Alistair began to back away. Then he stopped and grinned. But I'm not afraid of you. I'm glad, said the old elf. Will you come with me on Christmas Eve? Oh, yes, said Alistair. And that's exactly what he did. And it was the best Christmas Eve Alistair or Santa ever had. Okay, so that's the end of our story. The Littlest Christmas Elf. And in the story, Alistair was small and he got sent away because he wasn't big enough to do this. And he wasn't big enough to do that. So for 3 out of 4 of you, Mason, Eva, and Connor, or I guess 5, let's see. Mason, Eva, Connor, Colby, that's 4. And then Pager would be 5. So the 4 or the 5 of you are too small most of the time. And you get sent away or told, never mind, I'll do it myself. Because sometimes it's more work to teach someone how to do something than it is to just do it yourself. And it's supposed to save time. But it sure doesn't feel good when you're told you're too small. So we need to remember that just because you're small doesn't mean that you're no help at all. I hope your mom and dad remember and you get some cool special chores to help with. And we'll talk some more tomorrow. Sleep well. I love you. Good night.